present in our day-to-day life. Welcome, Slikour, please.
Huh? What you were talking about earlier on the solidarity in the music industry program.
How?
Sorry, a little bit of confusion that I'm over. Sanbanani, to the family. I just wrote a speech because I want to be short, I want to be to the point, and I want to say what I need to say, right? So, it's not that I'm disrespecting you guys, I just wanted to be prepared, you know? It deserves this, Pro deserves this. So, I never knew Pro as well as many people in the room, but I might have met him through Dome. Maybe just to give context of how we first met, and the last thing he could have said to me. So when we met, Squatter Camp was established in the industry, and I had Pro in my car as an up-and-coming rapper. What I was doing, I knew we could rap so well, but because with Squatter Camp we were making songs, I was explaining him like bars, structures, musicality, all those things, and I was saying, you just rap a lot, it's dope, but you rap a lot, you know? So I gave him advice. That time, no one really knows Pro. Dome used to work at my house all the time, and just do beats, and he left, and he introduced me to Pro. A few months later, he was on his way to becoming more than an up-and-coming rapper, but an industry peer. That's not because he took any of my advice, by the way, that's because he did it his way, you know? But one thing that remained and always lingered between the two of us is respect. The last time we spoke, which was probably around June, and a few times maybe before that, he'd always reach out his hand to me and he'd congratulate me on the work we're doing at Slikour Life. And he'd say, I appreciate how you're building the kids through your platform. As a peer of mine, that was not only encouraging, but it meant the world to me, because as rappers we know we've done something right when one of our rap peers gives love, no matter what their circumstances, yeah? So what we do together when the music is done, the curtain closes and the lights switch off, will determine the value of our competitive field. That means the value of the music industry. Now I want to repeat that. What we do together when the music is done, the curtain closes and the lights switch off, will determine the value of our competitive field in this music industry. When the lights switched off, the music stopped and the curtain closed for Pro, we rose as an industry community. We all gathered our resources, talent, time, money, contacts, and the most powerful, influential, revered, and respected industry players came together to bring service providers, politicians, media, and brands. Yet, with all this being done, which I was watching, we still feel so powerless and helpless, you know? Pro's passing brought the industry brought us back together in WhatsApp groups of like almost over 100 people. Rappers who are competing are in the same group, like real beefs. Like groups. We got tear gas in the group, you know what I mean? They just didn't make the song in the group, you know? The WhatsApp group, though, is the generation of 2005 to 2018. And we've seen how our predecessors or legends have been exploited by apartheid, but we are no better. In fact, we are worse because we don't know when to stop competing and start building. As a collective, we've been reaching out for help. We're too worried about shifting the culture when we should be shifting our behavior. You see, the music industry, like the taxi industry, like the spaza industry, has one thing in common. It serves black people and it's powerful. Therefore, these businesses deliberately don't have structure, security, and if you work in any one of them, you become a casualty of the repercussions of a business that has no structure. Right? Western businesses aren't creating products. Hold on. Yo, I'm gonna be done. TTP, I will be done. Please, TTP, please, man. Jeez, just don't hate. It's the wrong place. Anyway, I just need to say this because it's important. Because I got you all in the room. Pro has got us all in the room. It is important. So and I wrote this, I thought about this. Okay, so Western businesses aren't creating products for these industries, and if they are creating it, the premiums are high and they tailor-made for Western businesses. Therefore, what we need to realize is that all these white businesses have been built to have the structure to protect them and their employees, because in the end they serve white minority shareholders. The question is not why artists are dying broke. The question is, why do black businesses struggle the most when it's black people that consume the most? The question is, what discussions are we having to create security products for our creative workforce, while white companies are willing to invest in trade models for them? How are we getting together to teach the new generation to shift the behavior? Because that's the new culture shift. We got teachers, we gotta teach actors and musicians that making money from music doesn't mean you understand business or that you are in business. We gotta teach creatives that having a clothing brand doesn't mean you're in business. Having distribution, manufacturing plants, warehouses, investors, that is teach creatives that signing a deal with a brand doesn't mean you are in business, you are just clout. We gotta teach creatives that unless you are investing in a fully fledged business that has profitable income statements, you can't run a side business while you're an artist. So rather spend less during your prime, and when things cool down, start making decisions of your own. I have proof how many artists who own businesses from 2005 are still doing the same thing today. Guys, there's proof. It doesn't happen, right? We gotta teach creators together. We came together because of Prokid, and look at this, it looks good, but we all know what it took to get to this. If these kids consume our content by buying our music, they'll work in our companies that we'll build, and they'll have, if our companies have good conduct, and they'll work in our companies over any Western companies. These kids will build these companies with the patriotism because they came from the dust that we come from. The biggest deal that black people can have is coming together, not another brand. That's the biggest deal. This is no pie in the sky, and I know it can be done because the companies that are already doing it are using you, and me. You know? We're not scared or bothered of land, white people, white monopoly capital. We're scared that we aren't applying ourselves and uniting with the little we have. Because the little we have is enough to change the paradigm. We worry about the black minds believing that they're inferior, and in order to be superior, they need something produced by white capitalism. So don't ask why artists are dying poor when black people are dying poor generally. They don't own shit, they don't work in companies that are owned or run by them, or run by people who come from the same dust as they do. They have no reasons to be patriotic unless it's a check. The reason why we're in the spotlight for all our other black people who die poor is because us as artists, we have the power to change it as creatives. The reactive behavior when one of us passes away has to stop. And I am taking the vow today to work on the change. And if you're in one of our groups, I'll be reaching out to you and we're going to do this because you know what? The conversation is repeating itself.
Ladies and gentlemen, Slikour started the group. Slikour has been with the family. You've been with the family every day, seeing them. And we will never meet in this platform like this again. So if there's an opportunity to awaken us psychologically, let's not be impatient. Because 3 minutes is not going to change the price of bread.
Okay, thanks so much, Slikour. Very important message that needs to be heard, and we have to